Hi, I'm Joey Vaughn, and this is my recreation of the Giza Plateau right here. Long ago, the Nile River came much closer, as we know from pictures and historical accounts. The three pyramids are located here, here, and here. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is the one closest to the plateau. The plateau is like a peninsula almost, where the pyramids are located, and I believe that they chose this exact spot because of the land features. It made it easier to build the pyramids. Everybody thinks the pyramids were built from the ground up. I don't believe that. I came up with another theory, and I'm gonna tell it to you right now. At one time, the Giza Plateau was about 500 feet higher. There was a mound on it, and they devised a way to build the pyramids. It's really ingenious, and this is how they did it. I hope this is catching. They started quarrying at the top. Okay, they made a hole and they started quarrying down the plateau down to the river, like this. Okay, and then they started digging a hole right here, just like this. And what they did is they slid the stones out of the hole down to the river to get rid of them. Okay, and they kept going and going and going until there was a 500-foot quarried area right here in the middle of the hill, the highest part of the hill. All the stones that they removed from this huge hole slid down to the river. Not one had to be lifted. So then, once they had this space, and another reason, another good thing for this channel was, everybody knows when you have a quarry, it fills with water, even back then. So the water was able to drain to the Nile. Then they were going to build their pyramid. So it's been found that a lot of the stone on the top of this Giza Plateau is excellent stone. So what I think is they started quarrying around the big hole, the 500-foot hole, okay? And they either had ropes going across the hole, or they had ledges going down into the hole all the way to the bottom. And they started cutting blocks all around the top here, and they lowered them with ropes, or they brought them down around the channel. Not one stone had to be lifted. It makes it much easier. Okay, so they used all the stone they could here, and what they couldn't use, they brought up around the back, which was not steep. It's not like bringing it up from the river. It was not steep. So they made a little path here, all right, and still they just lowered everything down with ropes and pulleys until they built their pyramid. And this is what I have for the pyramid. It's a poor example of a pyramid. Okay, so if you can see if I can get this. As you can see, there's your pyramid in the hole. There's the Giza Plateau. Okay, now we know they were great at quarrying stones. That may be the best thing they ever did. But this pyramid here, the Great Pyramid, it was built without lifting a stone. All the stones in this hole came down the chute to the river. The ones that were brought from far away were brought around on level ground, maybe up a slight incline, and then they were lowered down into this hole and built. So you can imagine lowering a stone with some ropes. Even if it's a huge stone, you could just have a few guys at the bottom that could maneuver it and get it in the exact spot. And if it wasn't in the exact spot, you lift it an inch and you get it in the perfect spot. So to me, it makes it, 1,000 times easier to build a pyramid this way. Then you might say, okay, you got a pyramid in a hole. What do you do then? Well, you're great at quarrying, you start quarrying away the same way. Okay? Everybody knows the Giza Plateau has been flattened. But they figured it was flattened and then the pyramid was built, that they made a nice flat spot for the pyramid. But that's not so. They made a huge hole. They built the pyramid by lowering stones into it, and then they cleared the top away, like this. And again, sending all the stones down the chute. Okay? So again, nothing had to be lifted. Okay? Like this. If you notice, today, it's all flat around the Great Pyramid and the other pyramids. It was quarried down after the pyramid was built. And if you notice the geographical or geological features, there are still some hills 80, 90 feet high behind the pyramids. So this shows that the ground may have been 500 feet higher. We don't know that, but let's just say the ground was 200 feet higher and they made a hole 200 feet deep. Can you imagine the benefit of having this 200-foot hole to build the first 200 feet of the pyramid? How much easier that would have made it? So we have a pyramid today, 3 pyramids, and the level area. So it looks as if the pyramid was built on flat ground, but it wasn't. In summary, they cut a channel up into the hole, up into the Giza Plateau, which was 500 feet higher. They quarried a hole down, maybe 500 feet. They removed the stones down this chute to the river. They lowered the blocks into the hole. They built the pyramid, and then they quarried away everything else. And it could be, there's no depictions of the pyramids because nobody saw them doing it. This channel was narrow, and maybe people saw them lowering stones. Maybe they didn't know what was going on down there. Maybe it was a secret until it was done. And then as they're clearing it, all the people can see, what the heck is that, you know? But that's my idea on these megalithic structures. And I think that if you check out some of these other huge stone structures around the world, you may find that they were chosen, that they were put there for a reason. It wasn't just willy-nilly. It was because there was an area like this where they could get rid of the stones, dig a hole, and bring stones from the back and lower them. That's the key, lowering them with gravity. No lifting has to be done. It makes it tremendously easy. With ropes, you lower the stuff down. Not easy, but it makes things much easier and more exact when building. And that's my own theory on how the pyramids were built. Thank you. I'm Joey Vaughn.